You hear the word trauma everywhere, right? It's used to describe everything from a life-threatening car crash to just a really, really bad day at work. But what if the key to healing our pain isn't found in using a bigger word, but a more precise one? Let's dive into why getting specific might just be the most powerful tool you have.
I mean, you've heard this. Come on, maybe you've even said it yourself. And if you've ever used the word traumatized to describe something that was just deeply upsetting or incredibly difficult, you are not alone. It became the word we all reached for because, honestly, it felt big enough to match the depth of our everyday hurt. And that, right there, is the heart of what we're exploring. The word trauma has drifted so far from its original clinical meaning. Understanding that drift? Well, that's the first step toward getting some real clarity. So let's break this down, because the contrast is pretty wild. Clinically, trauma is about exposure to events where your life, your safety, or your bodily autonomy was actually threatened. We're talking serious injury, violence, that level of threat. But in popular use, it's become this catch-all for basically any painful experience. A rude comment, a tough breakup, stress from your job. So how did this happen? Well, it actually makes a lot of sense. We needed a word for pain that felt huge to us, but wasn't getting validated by others. Trauma felt heavy enough. It felt like it matched the intensity. And then, as therapy culture went mainstream, the word just took off, spreading because we all saw and heard other people using it. Okay, but why does any of this actually matter? Look, this is not about being the word police or telling anyone their feelings are wrong, not at all. This is about discovering how precision can be a powerful act of self-care and a direct path to healing. And that's a totally fair question, isn't it? If traumatized is the word that just pops into your head, why on earth should you go looking for another one? Well, the answer has everything to do with getting what you actually need. Think of it like this. When trauma means everything, it's like this one giant, shimmering surface of gold. It's kind of beautiful, but you're also blinded by the shine. But underneath that shimmer, there are all these distinct individual shapes. Words like grief, stress, hurts, disappointment, overwhelm, even betrayal. These words aren't lesser. They're specific. And that specificity, that's the key.
So here's the crucial point. Using a specific word helps you figure out what you actually need. I mean, the support you need when you're grieving is completely different from the support you need when you're overwhelmed, right? This isn't about ranking your suffering. It's about getting clear on what happened so you can get the right support.
Okay, so this all sounds good in theory, but how do we actually do it? Let's walk through a super simple, no-pressure experiment you can try, starting literally right now.
It's really just a quick check-in with yourself. The next time you feel that word about to come out, just pause, just for a second, and ask yourself that one question. Was my life, my safety, or my bodily autonomy under threat? If the answer is yes, you could absolutely be dealing with clinical trauma. But if the answer is no, ask, okay, so what is the specific feeling underneath? And this is a perfect example of what that shift can sound like. Instead of saying you're traumatized by a situation at work, maybe you try saying, I'm just so overwhelmed. Instead of being traumatized by a friendship ending, maybe it's, I'm grieving this loss. Can you feel the difference? It actually names the specific need. And let's be absolutely 100% clear here. This does not make your pain any less real. Being overwhelmed is real. Being deeply hurt is real. Both of those things deserve care and attention. Precision is just the tool that helps you find the right kind of care.
So, to bring this all home, here's one simple thing to practice. Think of it as an awareness checkpoint, not a correction mandate.
For this week, that's it. That's your only job. When you hear the word trauma, whether it's from a friend, on social media, or even in your own head, just mentally ask that question. You're not judging, you're not correcting anyone, you're simply observing. The practice is that simple. Notice the word, mentally, just for yourself, replace it with a more specific one, and then just observe. What becomes clearer for you? What changes when you do that? And that's really the question I want to leave you with. What becomes possible when you stop being blinded by that golden shimmer and you start to see the individual, true shapes of your own experience?